the key message, I guess, from legacy titles would be the importance of building a legacy, the importance of making an impact in other people's lives, and ultimately understanding that if you're just trying to wing it and you don't have systems and plans, if you don't have a system in process, the odds of you unlocking your full potential and leaving the legacy that you truly can leave dwindle quite a bit. So the legacy titles breaks down 12 proven principles that you can apply that are ultimately going to help you unlock the most incredible legacy you can possibly leave.
So Glenn, it's super excited to have you back on the show, my friend, and congrats on the new book.
Thank you, man. Super excited to be here. Who you know who I know? I know Trevor Houston, and he's the man. That's what I know. So super excited to have a conversation with you today. It's going to be amazing.
That's what Hopefully I'm talking about.
Mic will continue to work. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. So let's kick it off with, I want you to summarize the key message of the legacy titles. Tell us what readers can expect and gain from this book.
Well, the key message, I guess, from legacy titles would be the importance of building a legacy, the importance of making an impact in other people's lives, and ultimately understanding that if you're just trying to wing it and you don't have systems and plans, if you don't have a system in process, the odds of you unlocking your full potential and leaving the legacy that you truly can leave dwindle quite a bit. So the legacy titles breaks down 12 proven principles that you can apply that are ultimately going to help you unlock the most incredible legacy you can possibly leave.
So where did you learn these principles? And was it things that you kind of learned along the way through your own personal journey of building business and your empire, or where did this come from?
Experience is the best teacher, right? Trevor, experience is the best teacher. And so I had the opportunity to make a lot of mistakes in my life. I had the opportunity to run businesses that did not succeed at a super high level. I never crashed and burned in any business that I was in, but there's some businesses that I worked in and we stayed stagnant or maybe grew very little. And then there's an experience I had where we grew 800% in just under 6 years. And we've now repeated that, that process multiple times. And so when you look at your companies that you worked in and were stagnant and you didn't really win at the level you wanted to, and then you look at the ones where you did win at the level you wanted to, you're able to see the patterns. What was the difference, right? And that's where the legacy titles was born, is being able to identify the differences between massive success and average success, and how do we quantify that and break it down so that we turn it into formulas that we can use that ultimately then are duplicatable as well as scalable.
All right, I love that. Okay, so I want to dive in maybe to one of those businesses that didn't go so well, right? Like one that just didn't crack off 800%, right? And had you applied those principles, right? Again, because the experience was the best teacher, so maybe you didn't necessarily have that formula quite yet. Do you think that's what was missing, or do you think it maybe was just timing, industry? There was another variable that kept that thing from cracking off the way you thought it would?
No, man, I didn't have the formulas, the leaders in my life. I had formulas. They were the wrong formulas, right? I had formulas I'd learned from leaders, which were the wrong leaders. I mirrored the wrong people. I fell into the wrong, I followed people that were more worried about a dollar than they were about a daughter. And that's not how you grow and scale 800%, man. You got to be more worried about not just your own daughter, but other people's daughters, right? And so in those businesses that did not go as well, and again, never crashed and burned, but in the businesses that did not go as well, there was far less attention to the human element of business and far more attention to the profit side of business. Whereas in the businesses I've had that have grown 800%, there's far more attention on the development of the humans.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And the profit comes.
That's super interesting, especially in a world of AI and all the stuff that's going on, right? Where companies are, you know, removing the human element. That's what I talk about a lot, even in the job search space that I help, people with. It's about putting the human element back in. Do you see that as like the secret, or one of the secrets or keys to success is that human element? Is that going to become more valuable and more valuable as AI becomes, bigger and bigger and bigger? Do you think that human element's going to be the thing that sets people apart?
So if I have no legs, I lose my legs. I can't walk. I can't run. I can maybe walk on my hands for a certain amount of distance, right? So I'm still capable, but I'm not as fast and efficient as I possibly could be. If a guy comes along with some technology where they can put some legs on my body that I can now use to run, to sprint, to jump, now I become a more efficient human. I'm a stronger human. I'm a more powerful human than I was when I had no legs. And everyone in our society is totally cool with that. We think it's great. We watch all the inspiring videos. The guy with no legs runs a marathon, right? Like we get behind that, and we're so excited about it. This AI stuff, which I love, I am fascinated with it. My team, we are all invested in learning all the different things that we can do. This AI stuff is it's legs for humans with no legs. It's not the legs don't replace the human. The legs make the human faster, more efficient. We can run faster, we can jump higher. And so I truly believe that we are it's the best time ever to be alive. The playing field has been absolutely leveled. Before, a massive company, let's use a company like Tesla, Microsoft, Nike, any of these companies, right? These big old companies, they have all these resources, they have all this money, therefore they're able to develop faster. They can hire people, they can do all these things a small business couldn't do. Well, now with AI tools, bro, it's so much more affordable and so much more cost effective. Look at this. Look at this, Trevor, since you opened this door, bro. You thought we were going the other way, but let me tell you something. You done opened the door real quick. So I'm gonna read something to you. All right, you ready? We're gonna go off Joe Rogan style. We're going off script here. All right. So this is just me messing around in my bed the other day. And this is very low level. This is very low level ways to use AI, but these are the things I think about all the time when I'm using it. So the power of AI is the power of patterns. AI allows us to see patterns over eons of years in an instant. Couldn't do that before, right? Example, you and me, when we were growing up, we're like, hey, what does it take to be successful? What do successful people do, right? I got to go find 50 different books from 50 different people, read all 50, study, research, highlight, note, all these things, and try to detect the patterns. I know this because I did this, right? I asked myself a question at one point. Why are they there and I'm here? And the only way I could answer that was, well, there's got to be patterns, right? And so I went through and I found that every successful person, like highly successful person in human history, has some sort of powerful morning routine. That was one pattern I found, right? So I'm like, okay, well, they've all got a morning routine. I don't. My morning routine sucks. So how do we change? Okay, so I started trying different things. Cold showers. That sucks, Trevor. I am not a cold shower person.
Look, I built one of them ice baths.
Yeah.
I got an ice bath at my house.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like I took one of them chest freezers.
Yes.
Man, I built it. I ice bath every day.
I love
It's
the ice
crazy.
bath. I love
Oh,
the
it
polar
sucks.
plunge.
No, it sucks.
No, but I'm good with the polar plunge. The polar plunge is my jam because after the polar plunge, you can take a hot shower. I'm cool with that.
Man,
With
I'll tell you what,
the
the
cold
energy
shower,
you get,
ugh.
man, the energy you get after you do one of those, man, it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I always feel anyway, but that's a whole nother thing.
But
But
like,
yes,
but so I'm with that. But the cold shower I wasn't with because then I'm cold, I'm shaky, and now I'm wrapping a towel on, putting clothes on, trying to go into the damn out. Like if I can have cold followed by hot, I'm in. Right. So, anyways, but I started to realize all successful people have a powerful morning routine, and I don't. So I got to figure out what that looks like. So I put together my own powerful morning routine, which now we share and we've taught to, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all around the world. Right. But that was a process. If I would have had an AI tool, I could have said, I want you to go back and look at the last 100 years of the most successful humans in United States history, Australian history, European history, whatever. And I want you to outline the 5 things that every one of them has in common. And this AI tool can instantly do that and come back and say, yeah, they all have a morning routine. Yeah, they all are good at time management. Yeah, they all are good at remembering people's names, whatever it is, right? And then I can attack that. Whereas before, it would have took you years to get that information. So here's an example. You ready? All right, we're going down the rabbit hole, brother. So I was hanging out, just messing around the other day, and I said, okay, this is going to be fun. I was wondering if you could look at the highest grossing movies of all time and determine a pattern of what those movies have in common. Then I want you to think of 5 movie ideas that would be most likely to become the highest grossing movie of all times based on the data. Okay? I'm not a movie maker. I'm just having some fun. So it spits out, after reviewing the list of the highest grossing films, several patterns emerge. Here's what's common among these box office successes. The genre, most of them are action, adventure, sci-fi, or fantasy. Most of them are franchise or sequels like Avengers, Harry Potter, all that stuff. Most of them have popular directors and casts like James Cameron and, who as the director of Avatar and Titanic. Most of them have innovative technology and visual effects. So they often push the boundaries of film technology. And get this one right here. Most have wide appeal and accessibility. They usually have a PG-13 rating. It's not the R movies. It's not the R movies. Those aren't the ones. It's a PG-13. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then it shoots out 5 possible movies you could make. Galactic Guardians Trilogy, The Rise of Orion, The Legend of Altair, Warriors of Time, Mythical Quest for the Eternal, Eclipse. And it gives me like a synopsis of what all these movies are, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So there was one that I liked called Eclipse, right? I said, can you please expand on the eclipse concept? So it does. It gives me the director's vision, the plot summary, the main character, Dr. Adrian Cole, a neuroscientist and former detective who has helped the development of the dreamscape technology, haunted by the unsolved case of his sister's disappearance. Adrian is both brilliant and brooding, a master of deduction in both the real world and the dream world. Then it gives me supporting characters. Then it gives me the storyline of the introduction of dreamscape technology, mysterious crime, exploring the dream world, unraveling the conspiracy, climax and resolution. Then it gives me an ending. Then it gives me the visual style. Then it gives me how to make it appeal to James Cameron so I get him to direct the movie. Then it gives me its marketing potential. Then I'm like, dude, can you turn this into an official film pitch? Yes. Boom. Logline, synopsis, plot overview, middle, climax, theme, director's view, target audience, market potential, budget and production considerations, conclusion. I'm like, dang, this is great. Can you write it? And guess what it said when I said, can you write it? Writing a full script is a large and complex project that involves detailed development of scenes, dialogue, and character interactions over the course of the entire movie. However, I can certainly help you get started with some key elements like an outline of specific scenes if you'd like. Let me know how you would like me to proceed. This is the legs on the human with no legs, but still requires the human. The tool's telling you, no, dude, I can't write the whole movie, but I can help you with an outline. No, but it can, but check it out. But here's what's cool. So then I'm like, all right, give me the outline. So it breaks down the outline. Boom, 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 boom. And then I say, can you give me the first 3 minutes? Just script the first 3 minutes. A sweeping view of the neon lit city with towering skyscrapers and bustling aerial traffic. A massive digital billboard displays an ad for Dreamscape. The narrator comes in and says, in a world where the human mind can be mapped like the most distant stars, we dared to go deeper than ever before. It cuts to a crowded auditorium where Dr. Adrian Cole is giving a demonstration of the Dreamscape technology, et cetera, et cetera. So it gives me the first 3 minutes and it's powerful. So then, Trevor, and you're like, oh man, where's Glenn going? So then I go in here and I say, hey, can you do the same thing with books? Give me the greatest books, best-selling books of all time. We do the same thing with books. Then I say, hey, can you do the same thing? Can you do the same thing with TV shows? And it does the same thing with TV shows. And then I said, can you do the same thing with businesses? And it did the same thing with businesses. And then it gave me 5 ideas for businesses that I could start and that it could help me with if I wanted to, based on current market data and trends, problems in today's society and how we could solve them. This tool allows me to think on a level I was never able to think before, because I'm not a movie writer. I'm not a TV show person. I've never done any of those things. I did write a book, and it's a darn good one. I wrote a book, and I've built businesses, but now I'm able to tap into worlds I was never able to tap into before.
And, you know, that's so interesting for me when I think about it, because, okay, let me ask you this. All right. Because you're saying that, right? You're able to tap into a whole bunch of areas and different things that you never would have thought or dreamed of before. And now you're able to. But so is everyone else. And so, like you said, it levels the playing field. But doesn't that also, in a way, this is where I was going earlier when I asked the question, doesn't that also, in a way, saturate things? Couldn't it saturate things where if everybody becomes an author because of ChatGPT, or if everyone becomes a movie writer because of ChatGPT, if everyone becomes, right, like if it's so accessible to everyone and it takes away some of that skill set that it would have took, like, think about what you just read out about that movie.
I did that in less than 10 minutes. It's amazing.
Right. Like what would that have taken a human with the experience, with, 15 years experience in the movie industry, to actually create what you just spoke about in just like that. So that's where I'm saying, like, what is going to be the differentiator if all of a sudden everyone is like a freaking superhuman genius because we got these powers now? It's like we got the power. Right? What separates us?
So great question. And in response to that, there's a couple pieces to what you just shared. So let's unpack those. All right. So the first thing is, you said, what if everyone's an author? Well, why would everyone become an author where now there's a trillion things people can do? If you go back to 1920s, when there wasn't very many options, right? There wasn't a whole lot of options for jobs. So what did everybody do? In the 1920s, revolutionary era, everyone went into factory work because that was the only thing that was really accessible, right? And there were a few outliers that maybe wrote a great book or told a good story or whatever. There was a few creatives, but for the most part, they all just locked into a 9 to 5, which fast forward 100 years, we see that the 9 to 5 from 18 years old until you're 65 does not promise you a dream of a purpose-filled, massive life like they lied to us about when we were young, right? We all know that now. That's clear now. That is not the path. I look at my parents. I love my mom. I love my stepdad. Dude, they're not financially free. They grinded it out for 45, 50 years. They're not free, right? So because there's a plethora of options now, I look at it like I look at my kids. Trevor, you don't have any, you have a one kid now, right? Yeah. Okay. So With kids, and my guess is you would follow this line of thinking. When you have kids, if you have kids, you probably want your kid to try soccer, try basketball, try baseball, try all this football, right? Maybe not football, but you probably want your kid to try all the different things to find out what that one thing is that they can be great at. This tool allows us to try all the things to find out what that one thing that we might be great at. Whereas before we didn't have that, bro. We didn't have the ability to try all the things because trying all the things took massive amounts of resources. Trying all the things you had to live in a certain area. You want to get into Hollywood, you got to live in LA, bro. I can't afford to live in LA. I'm in Wyoming in a town of 280 people. I can't get out. Oh, you can get out now, brother. You can get out now.
So you're super passionate about, I see it, man. Like, what's your battle cry to people? Like, what are you really saying here? Like, hey, listen, this is your golden opportunity.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yes, by far.
Like wake up. Like, are you trying to wake people up to this thing? Cause wake
up for real. Cause you pointed out a second ago on the second half of what you said, you said, dude, making that movie would have took years of studying, Great, bro. There's no benefit. There's nothing prideful about, oh, it took me 20 years to get this good. That's like saying, you know what? We have power tools, but you shouldn't use a power tool. Don't
get the chisel out.
Yeah, don't nail that thing in with a nail gun. Those 80,000 nails that you got to put in that house. Don't do that with a nail gun. Get your hammer, get a rock, and nail that thing in with a rock, homie. There's no pride in that, bro. There's no pride in that. Just because things used to take a super freaking long time. There's a guy named Ross Dawson. Ross Dawson said humanity is going to evolve 2,000 years in the next 100. 2,000 years. So think about where we were 2,000 years ago to where we are now. A lot of brains can't process that. You're like, 2,000 years can't process that. 100 years can't even really process that because most of us don't even live that long. So let's do backwards math. Humanity is going to evolve 100 years in the next 5, bro.
I believe it. I'm seeing it, watching it, witnessing it.
It used to take 100 years to build. You can now build in 5. If you're broke, destitute, homeless, and stupid right now, let's say you're that, and ugly. Let's say you're ugly, broke, stupid, and homeless right now. You can be a billionaire in 5 years. How do I know? Look at Elon. That dude was homeless, sleeping in, and he was not the most attractive dude on the world. Now, he was smart, though. I will give him that. But look what he was able to do in a short amount of time, bro. Everybody, that's my war cry to everyone. Anything you've ever wanted to do before, start today. Invest 18 minutes a day using these AI tools and whatever path you want to go on. And 5 years from now, you'll have the biggest freaking business. You'll be an expert. You'll be so far ahead of the game, and you can fulfill whatever dream you want to fulfill.
Man, I just love it, man. I love your passion for this. It just comes through the screen, man. I just love it.
My friend Heather, Trevor.
Speaking of Elon,
hold on, real quick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you go to Elon. My friend Heather Parody is an anti-AI. No, you know Heather, right? You know Heather. She's my buddy. We did a show together, and her and I just see the world completely differently. And I won't say she's anti-AI. That's a lie, but she's very hesitant. Especially when I shared with her the movie thing, the book thing, and because she's a creative, and so she's like, well, there's no magic in that. That's what she told me. Glenn, there's no magic in that. I said, okay, Heather, you're writing a script right now, right? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So what format are you using for your script? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, well, does your script have an intro? She said, yeah. I said, does it have a climax? She said, yeah. I said, does it have a conclusion? She said, yeah. I said, well, why are you writing it in that format? And she goes, I said, honey, just because it's giving you the framework doesn't mean she's pulling framework from the history of what's worked. Stories have an intro. They have a journey. They have a climax, right? We all know the hero's journey. This is just letting you do it faster. That's all. It's just faster. It's not replacing the magic. We're all working within patterns and format in everything that we do. So for those that are hesitant, like my friend Heather, that you think it's going to steal the magic that makes us human, it's not true, dude. It just simply speeds up the ability to see the patterns of success. And that is what we all are seeking. And that's why this is truly a treasure trove of opportunity, because you can now speed up the patterns of success in anything in your life that you want to be successful. You want to be better in your diet. You want to be better at a sport. I'm learning to play drums right now. Whatever it is you want to do, bro.
Dang, that's what's up, man.
Let's go.
Let's go. I like that. Hey, tell me what you're doing with the drums, man. Like, how are you using AI with drums?
Well, I'm using technology with drums, not necessarily AI specifically at this point. I have gone in and asked it some questions. What are the patterns of the best drummers, so on and so forth.
But that actually goes back to my other question. I was going to go into Elon. You mentioned Elon.
Yeah.
And I started thinking of Neuralink.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe, we can put that chip. And then you'll learn the drums.
Let's
and
go.
it'll be like the Matrix, bro, where you just plug in and then and now you know how to play the drums.
That's my
favorite
download movie trilogy.
Like, is that where you see this going? Because it kind of feels like it a little bit, just a little bit. And how do you feel about the chip? Will you get the chip? Are you getting the chip, bro?
I probably will, because I do love technology, and the more skills that I have, the bigger impact I can make.
Bro, y'all need to wait. Be on the lookout for Glenn Lundy 2.0. Oh my God. With the Neuralink, Glenn Lundy, boy.
Dude, we're already building Glenn Lundy 2.0. Like, my team right now is in the process of building my mind in everything. So I have more content than anyone on planet Earth. I have 1,500 episodes of a daily morning show. I have 5 years of 2 times a week, 1-hour trainings that I've been delivering to my 800% club dealers. So however many that is, 104 times. I have 520 hours of training. I have 1,500 episodes of Rise and Grind. I have all the keynotes that I've done. I have all the sales meetings I gave at Dan Cummins over 8 years. Every Saturday morning sales meeting was streamed live on Facebook. I have more content than the 99% of humans on this planet. That content can be transcribed, uploaded into an AI tool, extract all the stuff that doesn't matter, and what you have left is a version of my mind that will think like me, talk like me, respond like me, as I would in any given situation, but actually better than me in the sense that its ability to recall will be instant. So like, I could go into my tool and say, what day at what time was I on the Who You Know show last time? And it will be able to tell me the date, the time, exactly what we talked about, our entire conversation, everything in half a millisecond. Whereas there's no way I can do that right now. So you don't just look forward to Glenn 2.0. Know that Glenn 2.0 is already here, bro.
Let's go. Okay. I want to dive into that.
This isn't even Glenn. This is an AI version of Glenn. Right now, you thought it was me. You thought it was the real Glenn this whole time, but it's the AI version. That guy that was sitting here before, Nick. This is actually him. It's just Glenn's face on it. That's all.
That's a trip, bro. That is a trip. No, but it's serious. That's real stuff that's going on.
It is real.
What tool is that? Okay, because I got a lot of content too. You can't tell me?
Not yet,
man. I'll just use AI to find out.
Well, that you can dig a little bit, and you and I can talk offline.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good, because I got a bunch too, man.
I know you do.
And I've seen people doing it and all of that, and I guess I haven't taken the time to really dive into that. I've kind of just said, hey, that would be cool, and I just haven't really gone down that rabbit hole to figure out how to do it to essentially clone yourself on video, right? Is that what you're kind of referring to? Is a video version of Glenn?
By word, right? Like, to clone yourself in a way that people can access information. Initially, it's all words and transcription, and then you can
Like they
add
go to your
in the
website. Like
layers later.
I could visualize someone going to your website, right? And there's Glenn there ready to answer questions. Like, hey, let's talk about it. Like maybe somebody's doing an inquiry because they want you to speak at their conference, right? And they go to your website and there you are, ready to answer questions. And it negotiates the deal and everything. And bop, 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 bing, boom,
24/7,
contracts going.
24/7 access.
That's crazy.
24/7 access. And I really think about my kids, Trevor. Like there's a lot of entrepreneurial ways to use these tools, but I want us all to think even bigger than that. When it comes to leaving a legacy, which is I'm driven to help. I am driven to make an impact in my life by helping others leave a powerful, positive legacy, right? Like I don't want to just make an impact on Trevor. I want to make an impact on Trevor's grandkids. That's important to me. That's very important to me. And so I imagine we load all 1,500 episodes of Rise and Grind into a tool, which has me in tears. It has me laughing. It has me experiencing things. It has me stressed. It has me anxious. It has me joyful. It has me in every emotion, right? That show has captured me in every emotion, in every scenario, in every situation. I now can teach a tool using that stuff. My son, say my son is, well, let's just go further out. My grandson or my great grandson, I might not be around for them. I might not be around for them at some point. And I want them to be able to go in and say, hey, I'm in a situation right now, right? I'm stressed, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm around the wrong people, my life's not good. What would my great grandfather
Oh my gosh.
say about
Dude,
things?
that right there blows my mind because I think about it like what you just said right there. Because my grandma passed last year, and like how cool would it be able to go back and talk to my grandma? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
man.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just blows my mind.
See?
You know what I mean? What you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about,
That's
bro.
crazy. My great grandma.
Yeah.
To go, hey, great granny, you know what I mean? What's up?
Yeah. What's up? I'm in this spot right now. What would you do? Right. And I just see it. I see my great grandkid. Maybe he's having a little bit of a rough day and he pops in and I can pop in and be like, hey man, there's 5 simple things that you could do. 5 simple things that you can start doing tomorrow that are going to change your life. No snooze button, no phone first thing in the morning. Write down your gratitude and goals. Take care of yourself physically and send out an encouraging message. Your great granddad used to do this every single day and it completely transformed his life. If you need help with it, I'm right here. I'll walk you through it. We can set an alarm together. I'll jump on with you first thing in the morning at whatever time you want to do it. And I'll walk you through it step by step. Right? Like
I can see, hold on. I can see the alarm going off in the morning.
Yep.
The hologram of Glenn Lundy.
Now you're talking.
Great grandpa Glenn Lundy,
That's right?
That's right. Popping up, and he's like, "Wake up! Wake up!
Good morning! Good morning!
Good morning! Good morning! Good morning!" Yeah, I can see that, man.
Oh, see, like it's not just business stuff, man. There's some implications of what's happening right now that affect this legacy, baby. Legacy. It's all about.
I love that. Speaking of legacy, okay, so I got to ask you. So you have 8 kids, right?
I do.
8 kids.
Yeah.
Now, the 800% came before the 8 kids.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
That was before, but do you see any kind of connection there? And do you plan on 9?
We are not.
Are we taking this to 900%? Are we?
No.
No.
We are prayerfully not having any more children. All right. And yeah, and so no more kids. But this number 8 has followed me around my whole life. It's the craziest thing, man. You know, Kobe Bryant and I were born the same year. I never knew him, but we were like born the same year. We went to graduate high school same time. So I kind of connected with him, and his number was 8. And so I loved the number 8 at an early age. And it kind of continues to pop up in my life. I was in Tampa on Sunday. What day is today? Tuesday. I was in Tampa. Actually, I got back yesterday morning, but anyways, I was at Tampa with some of my team, and we check into the hotel and they put us all on the 8th floor All of our room numbers were in the 800s. And that's very common in my life. Like this number 8 just always shows up, man. And
Well,
so,
I noticed that. And then I noticed on your book, it's 12 proven principles.
yes.
Okay. So talk to me about the 12. And then is there one of those principles that you find really resonates with people the most from your book?
Depends on where they are in their life, right? Different ones, different ones for different people. But the reason there's 12, and there's a lot of intention into a lot of things in this book. This book was written parable style. If you look right there on the cover, it says a parable for success. So it was written parable style. The reason we wrote it parable style is because Jesus, the greatest storyteller of all time, his stories have lasted thousands of years because he spoke in parables, right? They have an intro, they have a character that we can connect with, and then they go through a journey, and then there's a climactic point, and then they overcome, right? Like all his stories are parable style, so that we as humans can relate with a large concept that we might not be able to perceive in some other way. And so we wrote this parable style because my boy Jesus, right? There's 12 proven principles because my boy Jesus had 12 disciples.
All right, there you go.
So,
I kind of thought that was it. All right.
Yeah,
But,
he rolled in a pack, right? Which when I study the life of the greatest, most impactful human being to ever walk the face of this planet, I'm looking for clues. I'm telling you, I'm always looking for patterns and clues, right? So this dude rolled with 12 other people. And so with him in the center and 12 people around him, he was able to create a movement that has impacted billions and billions and billions of lives. Our entire world is built and structured around the legacy left by Jesus and the 12 disciples. And so that's why there's 12 principles, because I believe with you in the middle and these 12 principles around you, you can now create a legacy that can make an impact for billions and billions of people over the next thousands and thousands of years, right? So that's the intention behind that. Different people are in different periods of their life. So like a lot of people, if they don't already have good morning routines, then obviously right out the gate, the morning 5 principle hits. They're like, dang, my morning's awful. This dude's got it going on. So that one tends to resonate a lot. The 8531 formula, which is an actual formula that guarantees success for you and your people in your business. For a lot of people, that one jumps out because a lot of us are doing business, but we don't have a duplicatable formula to guarantee it. 8531.
8531.
Yeah, 8531.
All right, dive into that. Tell me. I think I've heard you talk about this before, but let's go deep for the audience who hasn't heard it.
Yeah, sure. So the 8531 formula. So in the automotive industry, all right, which is the industry that I'm the biggest expert in at this point in my life, in the auto industry, the goal, hold on, let me back up. Right now, currently in auto, most salespeople sell one car every 3 days they're at work. That has been the case since 1973. It's nonsense. As far as for the last 50 years of recorded history, that's been the average. Why that average hasn't, you would think it would change, right? We have technology, we have social media, we have ways to generate leads, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't. And so one of the things that we teach, and one of the things that one of the reasons we were able to scale our business 800% is that a car salesperson should sell one car a day every day that they're at work, which is about 22 cars a month, roughly. So the one in the 8531 formula is one object unit car sold. Okay. To guarantee that salesperson sells one car a day every day that they're at work, I got to get them in front of 3 people. Because statistically, it is shown that if there are 3 people in my showroom, guaranteed without a doubt, at least one's going to buy. Because one of them is just there to buy anyway. Doesn't matter if it all goes wrong, right? Now, in most dealerships in the country, usually if you get 3 people in the showroom, at least, usually 2 will buy. So 1 is a guarantee, 2 is more likely, and obviously we strive for 3, right? So we want to build formulas in our business so that we can set goals for what we want to achieve that are built on guarantees. Not built on, well, if all the wind and everything falls together perfectly. No. Let's build it on worst case scenario. So I need 1 car per day per salesperson. That means I have to get them in front of 3 people.
3 people.
Because whether
So
they're
if I have
smart,
20,
not smart, ugly, not ugly, whatever.
so if I have 20 salespeople, I need to have at least 60 people show up on that showroom.
That's
every
correct.
day.
That's
Every
correct.
day. I got to have 60
That's
people
right.
a day. Pow,
That's
pow,
right.
pow.
That's exactly correct. So how do we make sure 3 people show up? Well, I have to have 5 appointments. Because statistics show that 60% of my appointments are going to show up, 40% are not. So if I have 5 appointments, then I can guarantee 3 show up, which can guarantee 1 sold. Now, in order for me to get 5 appointments, I have to generate 8 leads. Because statistically, about 60% of my leads are going to convert into appointments. And then about 60% of those appointments are actually going to show. And then the ones that are show, one's going to buy. So I got to generate 8 leads, 5 appointments, 3 shows for every 1 sold for each salesperson in my organization in order to guarantee their success as well as mine, which that's what I want. I want to guarantee. Now, in different businesses, the numbers might be a little different, but you need a formula. How many, say I'm selling consulting. I want to sign 1 new client. Right? I want to sign 1 new client every day, every week, whatever your number is, right? I want to sign 1 new client every day. Well, in order for me to get 1 new client, I have to talk to 5 people on a Zoom call because 1 out of 5 are going to buy. Okay, so now my formula is 1, 5. Okay, how many Zoom appointments do I have to set to get 5 appointments, 5 people to show up to the Zoom appointment? I got to set 12. Okay, so 1, 5, 12. And how many leads do I have to generate to get 12 appointments? 30. Okay, so your formula is now 1, 5, 12, 30. And that's what you function in. So now I know. And if you're like, well, dude, those numbers are too big, I can't do it. Great. That means you need to invest in that area of your business and figure out why. Why are you not converting 8 leads to 5 appointments? I got a lot of dealers in my program right now. They're like, Glenn, we're not converting at that level. Like, we're not converting 60% of our leads into appointments. Then your system's broken. So let's go fix it. That's great news. We know what's broke now. Let's go fix it. But if I don't have a formula, I don't even know the system's broken. So I can't fix it. So it's so important. Every business needs to have a formula from top, which is lead, to sale. And we should know the numbers in between in order to guarantee the success and then build our businesses in a way that we can hit those numbers.
I agree with this 1,000% or 800%. How about that?
Yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, I agree with this 800% because, I use it in my business as well. I even, as I'm coaching and helping job seekers figure out how to get back to work, use a similar system, that's about getting them in front of people, getting them in front of the decision makers at the companies that they're trying to work for. And it's a numbers game, right? And right now, again, they're just applying online and they think that that's like that application, like them applying online. They think that that's doing something. And I'm like, no, it's not. Easy apply, no reply, right? Easy apply, no reply. So we need to actually get humans involved. And so it's a numbers game. There's a formula I have for that. But okay, so you've spent a lot of time, 25 years, or how long have you been in the auto industry?
25 years, yeah.
25 years.
1999.
Dang, bro.
Yeah, man.
How long did you sell cars for? And you were like, because I know now you train and all that. You sold, and then you went into management. How long were you on the inside of the dealership?
So I've been selling cars for 25 years, man. That's how I look at it. It doesn't matter what my title is or what role I'm in. I'm a car salesman, man. I'm proud to be a car salesman. But I was given the title of car salesman for like a year initially back in 1999 before I was given the title of finance manager, and then worked my way up through that store. And then same thing again I basically worked in two retail stores. But at the Chevy store in Paris, I was a salesperson for 4 months before they gave me the title of sales manager.
Well, I love that. I mean, that shows that you don't, again, what we were talking about, the how fast you go, right? How fast you don't have to, use the rock to hammer in those nails, right? You got there quick, man. You were like, whoa, I love it. So what do you see coming next in the auto industry? Because again, a lot of things going on. We got electric vehicles, push for that, all this kind of stuff. What do you see coming up next in automotive, and how do you see that impacting our economy? Because obviously the automotive industry is really heavily tied into our economy. So, what do you see going on there? What's some trends that you see?
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of consolidation going on. So we still have the same number of franchise dealers, but we have less owners that own them. It very much looks like it very much reminds me of when Walmart swept through this country, and the small kind of mom and pop operations weren't able to compete, right? And ultimately got gobbled up. And you have a bunch of, so we went from 90% of groceries in America used to be bought at local grocery markets. Now only 10% of groceries bought in America are bought at local grocery markets. The other 90% are bought at places like Walmart, right? Big corporations. And so I see that happening in automotive. We're seeing a lot of publicly traded.
A lot of the little
companies
guys are getting bought out.
They're just getting gobbled up, man. They just can't keep up. Volume solves everything, and that's what we teach, and that's really our passion, is how do we get in there with that family owned and operated business that's been around for 60, 70 years and save them against what's happening. Because there is,
so that's your market. Those are the people that you work for, and help them compete with some of these big guys, right? And help them really to fight back and compete.
That's exactly what it is. And if I'm being honest, my business model is a dying business model, because as the market continues to compact, there will be less and less potential. Like I tell the team all the time, like, we got to save as many as we can before, but they're at some point, like, look, think about like Titanic sinking, everyone's in the water. You can save as many as you can save, but then once they're either saved or they drown, you can go home. Like there's nothing else for the Coast Guard to do once they're dead or saved, right?
With that in mind, then I'm sure you've been thinking about what's next for you. Then.
Yeah, sure, sure.
You know what I mean? If that's a dying, and then if it's inevitable, right? Yeah. And you're seeing the writing on the wall, what's next for Glenn Lundy?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll direct movies. I don't know, bro. Like, seriously, no. We're going to start picking up some real estate. We're going to have some dealerships of our own, 800% elite auto sales. We're going to start doing that. Because, Trevor, I believe that a car dealership is a great environment for us to help people develop as better leaders. So my intention is at some point in the future I want to have leadership development academies all over this country that look like car dealerships, but they're actually leadership development academies where young people can come in and learn the skills that they need to be a better human, a better wife, a better husband, a better parent, to where they're able to tap into their spirituality, to where they can truly unlock their full potential. And the revenue that we generate will be just simply fuel for that. And that's actually a model going back to finding patterns and so on and so forth. Chick-fil-A believes that they are leadership development academies that happen to sell chicken. And that's why they've been so successful, because they're developing leaders in their organization. If you look up Chick-fil-A's recruiting ad, you go to Google and type in Chick-fil-A recruiting ad, dude, their ad says, would you like to be a better leader? Come learn this skill, this skill, this skill, this skill. It lists off all these leadership skills, right? And then it's like, apply today. It doesn't say, do you want to cook chicken and stick it out the window? It doesn't say that, but that's what you're doing. But what are the skills you're learning behind cooking chicken and sticking it out the window? Well, you're learning to communicate with customers. You're learning to say my pleasure. You're learning how to listen and be and encourage. You're learning how to serve people, right? Like they're teaching leadership stuff
So what do you
through
think
chicken.
on,
And that's what I
and I
want to do.
agree with you. No, I agree with what you're saying. Cause I've heard people will go poach, people from Chick-fil-A,
Yeah,
right? Because of the
absolutely.
training is so good,
Yeah,
right? And so they'll go poach them, after they've been trained. But my question to you is, for the automotive industry,
yeah,
right? There's a lot of successful people that have come through the automotive industry, like yourself. I was in the auto industry. I spent 6 years there, you know, Grant Cardone, things like that, right? So
sure.
you got a lot of people that you see, and I could name a whole bunch more names than that, but who have come through. What is it about the auto industry that, similar to what you were talking about with Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
What skills are there that are important that people should be looking at the automotive industry for?
Yeah, I think that I mean the auto industry, I think there are definitely tons of skills that you learn, right? How to overcome objections, how to be confident in communicate with others, how to be empathetic, how to ask questions, and how to dress properly, how to ask for what you want in life. You got to learn to hunt. It's commission based in a lot of different ways. There's other roles in the dealership that aren't, but there's just, but I think more important. So there's tons of skills, absolutely, that you learn. But I think what's more impactful, because there's lots of places where you can learn tons of skills. I think what's more impactful, even than just that, is it is the second largest industry in the world for a reason. Everyone needs transportation. And we can all remember the first car we ever had. And the reason every human, what was the first car you had, Trevor?
Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, beautiful. The reason every
Yeah.
human can remember the first car they ever had is because it's connected to this thing called freedom.
Mm.
Once we get a car, we now have the freedom to go, not just travel and see different things, but we have the freedom to go get a job. We have the freedom to tell our parents to go F themselves if we want to, right? I don't recommend we do that, but we have the freedom to. So transportation is connected with freedom. If you think about every immigrant that ever came from other countries in the movies, right? They stow away on a boat and they get transported from the worst case scenario to this dream of the American way of life, right? So freedom is deeply rooted in all humans, and freedom is associated with transportation. And here we are in the world of transportation. So when you're in automotive, you're not just selling cars, you're creating freedom for individuals. And it's such an emotional thing that when you're in the industry, you experience a range of emotions from people. Sometimes people are angry because you won't give them their freedom. Give me that dang thing, right? Their car's broke down. They're in the service department and they need to get to the freaking birthday party. Like, so sometimes you deal with anger. Sometimes you're in this experience and someone comes in and they're buying a car for their 16-year-old. It's the very first time. And we're all hugging and crying and there's joy. And then sometimes you're sitting across from a widowed 70-year-old woman who's never bought a car in her life, and she's scared to death of what the next 20 years looks like for her because she was married for 49 of them and her husband's gone now, and you get to hold her hand and say, we're going to be right here for you. We're
Man,
going to take care of you.
you're putting me back.
You feel
Okay,
me?
you're putting me back, because I spent 6 years in the auto industry, and yes, the stories, the people,
That's it,
right?
man.
The different
That's it.
so much of that. Yeah.
That's it. So that's why I think you see a lot of successful people that come out of automotive, because automotive is literally the window to humanity. You see it all. The bad credit customer that just needs a freaking break, man. The broke dude that that got fired from his job and just got divorced and lost the car. Like you see it all, man. You see
I
it
think it's
all.
I think everybody, like, I've always said this, everybody should go wait tables for a little while, right? I think everybody should go sell cars for a little while. Maybe it's not your lifelong career, but but the skills that it teaches you, like you were just talking about, how to empathize, how to connect with people, how to communicate with all types of backgrounds and ethnicities, and just I love that part about it. And so I agree with you. What do you think, just real quickly while we have a few more minutes here, what do you think needs to change? I mean, I know this is what you teach on, I'm sure. Like, there's probably things, habits that need to be broken, things that dealerships are doing wrong. Like, what are some of those negative things in the automotive industry that we need to, like, just get rid of?
This is not a cop out. This is real life right here. I believe that the word should needs to be eradicated from our kind of vocabulary. And here's why I say that. In the auto industry, we have a lot of dealerships that operate the same way. And the reason they operate the same way is because there's an organization that was built a long time ago that told everybody what they should do. You should have salespeople sell 10 to 12 cars a month. You should have your service department pay for your sales expenses. You should get a dealership to sell 100 cars a month, and you should make $1 million a year, and you should go buy another dealership at that point, and you should try to get as many real dealerships as you can. So that's what they told everyone they should do, and guess what? Everybody did. And now here we are 50 years later, and we're looking at completely different models where there was guys that aren't doing what they should, like an Elon. There's people that aren't doing what they should. And by not doing, which in a lot of dealerships in my group, and by not doing what they were told they should, they're actually becoming the disruptors that are changing the world. So I think that each dealership has an opportunity to understand its own identity. And every dealership in this country has an opportunity, especially in today's day and age with technology and so on and so forth, to look in the mirror and say, why do I do what I do? How does this feed into my legacy? What is impactful? What does impactful look like to me? And then at that point, make decisions to move in the direction that your heart takes you. So I guess what I'm saying is I can't tell a dealership exactly what they should do. I can only tell a dealership what I've done. And if they believe that that aligns with, their idea of success, then do that. But if it doesn't align, that's okay too. Figure out what does, because the more authentic we are as humans, the bigger impact we make. And I think a lot of people get lost in that. When you're studying people on social media, I'm not going to tell you should post 2 times a day. You should make your content look like this. You should say this. Like, I'm not going to say that. Instead, I'm going to say, hey, I post twice a day and I make my content look like this. And if that resonates with you, great. Feel free to copy me. But maybe you've got a better idea or something different. I just think sometimes in this world, we get too caught up in telling people what they should do. And we end up with a lot of people not reaching their full potential because they're too busy doing what somebody else told them they should. So I just think we have to be careful.
Are there any innovations or disruptions right now in the automotive industry that you're seeing? Any trends? Like, I remember when I was in, the big disruptor was TrueCar. Like, I remember, like, the Foursquare, the pencil, the back and forth, the negotiation, all of that. And that just kind of, like, I mean, they even still do that anymore? They still do that. That's crazy to me. They said, but, like, I remember TrueCar came in and it just kind of really changed the whole game. Anything like that has come out?
No.
Wow.
Dude, this industry's so old. It's an old school. It's crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yep.
I'm like, I've been out for like 10 years, man.
No, bro.
That's insane.
The auto industry has been ruled and governed by one kind of governing body for the last 50 years. And And because it's been so successful for so long, people are like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You don't see dealerships going out of business left and right yet. You don't see, you don't like the names that are on these buildings are the same names that have been on these buildings for generations on generations, right?
Huffines is where I worked. Huffines has it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
man.
so it's
Around
been a
for a long
successful
time.
industry for a very long time, and so there's not a whole lot of change. And what we've created is there's a whole lot of smoke. Like there's a whole lot of, oh, check this out. This is the newest, most disruptive thing in the history of automotive. There's a whole lot of this. People waving their fingers, but when you look at the actual data, nothing's changing. Most dealerships today sell the same amount of cars they sold 10 years ago. Like maybe a little system tweak, maybe a little process tweak, maybe a little different software. Result, same. And it's because the ultimate infrastructure that is deep seated into the minds of these owners, like the auto industry is a legacy business, dude. It gets handed down family member to family member. That's how the auto industry works. So 73% of owners in this country right now are third or fourth generation owners. So what do they know? They know what daddy taught them and what their daddy's daddy taught them and what their daddy's daddy's daddy taught them. And that's all they know. Most of them have never even stepped foot in another dealership. They just live their whole life in this silo, right? And because it's successful and they make money, $1 million a year or whatever the company makes, nothing changes. It's fascinating. So that's one of the things we're working on changing. So we go in with our owners. We now serve 126 rooftops across the United States and Canada, and we work directly with the owners and the GMs, and we dig in and we say, look, bro, just because this is the way you've always done it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. And we introduce them to other dealerships, right? It's a whole community of dealerships. So instead of everybody in a silo, now everybody's together, and we have franchise dealers and independent dealers. We have domestic dealers and foreign dealers. We have small dealers and large dealers. We have people that own the one little store, and then we have other people that own 27 stores, right? And they're all in a room together, and they're going, oh, well, we kind of look at it like this. And this one goes, well, we look at it like this. And well, we do it this way. And down here in Louisiana and over here in Florida and up there in Canada. And so by creating diversity, which doesn't really exist in auto, everybody's in a silo. Chevy hangs with Chevy, Ford hangs with Ford, Nissan hangs with Nissan. So by creating diversity in auto and bringing these third generation and fourth generation owners together, we're able to expose them to things that are outside what they've known their whole life, and then able to truly help them scale.
So you created
business,
an automotive mastermind.
Yeah, on a massive scale.
Yeah, like that's awesome, man. Like that's really cool. Like
and those have existed in auto. The difference was everybody was the same. So, okay, you're Nissan, come join our Nissan mastermind, and you can hang out with other Nissan dealers that are selling the same amount of cars as you. How are you going to learn anything? Like politically, if I was a Democrat, I would want to go hang out in the Republican rooms so I can hear what they're thinking and what they're saying, even if I disagree with it. If I'm a Republican, I want to go hang out in the Democratic room. Like, strength is built by being in the rooms with people that don't look like you, don't walk like you, don't talk like you, and don't think like you. That's where you build strength, because either you're going to learn something new or you're going to solidify the belief that you already have. Whereas when you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are all nodding their head together, yep, sure, Buck. Yeah, I agree. That's how, yeah, let's do that, Joe. Like when everyone's freaking in agreement, nothing changes, man. That's why I love Heather Parody so much, bro. Her and I she has been one of the most impactful humans in my life. We talk every week. We have a standing meeting and we get on. It's because she sees the world completely different than I do. We share a heart for making an impact, right? We share a heart, but our minds are so different, bro. And I love it because she challenges me all the time, and I challenge her all the time, and we make each other better.
Iron sharpens iron. Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
Man, I love it. Glenn, let me ask you a quick question before we rock and roll. I know you're a busy man. You got
Yes,
meetings and things. This is your game day, isn't it? Wednesdays is your game day too, correct?
Oh yeah, dude. Every day's game day, bro.
Every day's game day. Okay.
Yeah.
Where can the audience connect with you? Where's Glenn most likely hanging out? Okay, on the socials, on the social webs. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they could hook you up with a DM or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if they go to glennlundy.com, honestly, if they go to the website, then that's going to give them an opportunity to they can grab a copy of the book there if they want. They can learn more about the business if they want. They can connect to previous episodes of Rise and Grind. They can go find the Morning 5 free book download if they want. Like all that stuff's at glennlundy.com. As far as receiving some content and stuff on social, we're on all of them, man. So if you prefer, whatever you prefer, if you want to hang out with me on TikTok, then go to TikTok. If you want to hang out with me on Insta, go to Insta. If you want to hang out on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn. Like wherever you like to hang out, you'll find me there. I come to you.
I love it. glennlundy.com, legacy titles. Hold that book up again for me real quick. Hold it up real good. There you go. I'm gonna grab a little screenshot. All right, there we go, guys. And Glenn, thank you so much again. I think this is episode 3 or 4, man, but you're always welcome on this show. Anything you got going on, man, I want to help put some juice behind it. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you.
Just love what you're doing, man. Keep going. And I'm excited to see this movie come out. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, who knows? Who knows? Like, I have no idea where life is going to take me. I just know that it's an amazing time to be alive for all of us.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.